What type of diabetes do you have, and when did you get diagnosed with it?
I have type 1 diabetes, and I was diagnosed about 3 years ago, around January. It was Christmas break, and my family and I took a trip to Chicago. Right before the trip, I was feeling fine, felt normal, and just over the course of the trip, I started to feel real tired, real fatigued. I was constantly thirsty,
Right.
and didn't really know what was wrong, just kind of confused. Thought, I didn't know what I thought, but I get back, and by that time I'm back in school, and I was in the weight room, and I was lifting, and I was just really struggling with this, not that heavy a weight. I was just dying. I called my coach over, and he was like, well, hey, let's weigh you. So I get on the scale, and it turns out in about a week's period, I lost about 15 pounds. So we were kind of worried about that. Took me to the doctor. They tested my blood, and they tested my urine, and by the next day, they told me I had type 1 diabetes.
Wow. And does diabetes run in your family?
It does not. They don't know for sure, but the doctor kind of hypothesized that I got diabetes through a virus that came in and it caused a self allergy in my pancreas. And pretty much my body attacked my own pancreas and then just shut it down.
Very interesting. Um, what type of treatments do you take for your diabetes,
I
or
have,
ways to control it?
okay, I have two kinds of treatments. For one, I actually brought one. Uh, I have a fast acting insulin, which is this. I take it before every meal. It works within like about 15 minutes once I inject it. Um, yeah, it's just for our meals. I count how many carbs I eat, and then I twist this little meter here, counting how many carbs I'm about to eat, and then yeah, that's about it. Uh, I have a second type of insulin which I didn't bring. It works over about 24 hours. It's like slow acting, like a trickle down effect. I take that every night at 10 p.m.
10 p.m. And what happens if you forget to take it?
This will cause my blood sugar level to go up, which along with that cause all those side effects like fatigue, frequent urination, being really thirsty, and it just affects your brain function too. When your blood sugar is pretty much over about 250, you just kind of function slower. You can't really think right, things like that.
Okay. Let's talk about exercise. How does it, affect your exercise with your diabetes?
When if my number's high before I go work out and I'm during my workout, I'm really weak and I'm really tired. And typically when I'm working out and I feel abnormally weak or abnormally tired, I'll go check it. I'll go test it, and if it is truly high, I'll give myself a shot, and then I'll continue working out, and it's knowing that it's slowly coming down, and then just to make sure I didn't overdo it, so I don't go hypoglycemic, I'll check it again in about 20 minutes.
Okay. And do you have any specific diets you have to follow?
I don't know all the ins and outs of this one, but I do know that if I eat a healthy, more balanced diet, my number is easier to manage. Like if I were to go into the dining hall and just chow down on cookies, it would be different than if I went in and I got your average serving of fruit and meat and vegetables. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
It's just easier to manage if you eat a healthy diet.
And last question, how did diabetes affect your life?
Diabetes has hasn't really affected my life. It's pretty easy to manage. I every about 6 months I go to the doctor. He checks on me, checks my feet, whatnot. And I guess the one thing that it does affect is it affects my travel. Like if I'm about to go somewhere, for a while. I gotta make sure that I have insulin before I go, and then if I were to go there and lose it, I have to have kind of like a backup plan of like, all right, so what am I gonna do? How am I gonna get this insulin? Because if I don't have my insulin, I'm not quite positive how many days it would take, but it's less than like 5 days before I would be out of it.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add about diabetes?
Yeah, actually, I do. When you get diagnosed, the doctors have this thing they call the honeymoon period, and I'll kind of explain it like this because it helps. So it's like, here's my pancreas, and it's working fine. I don't know I have diabetes, and it just starts to go down. I still don't know, but I'm starting to feel those symptoms. So it's like, all right, hey, let's go get this checked out. So right here at this point, I find out I have diabetes, but my pancreas hasn't completely shut off yet. So I'm still going like on this downhill. So it's still kind of working, but not as well as it should up here, and it's gonna die here. So there's like this span for about, it can be anywhere from 6 months to 5 years
Wow.
that your pancreas is kind of working, but it's not fully working, and they call that the honeymoon period. And I was in that for about 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much, Brock.
Not a problem.